Alright, so it's just going to be the two of us, but then again, we're going to be able to get these two here.
I'll deal with this. One less to worry about.
The wine of Chateau Haine. Don't you wish that you could have been invited to the Duke's party? Oh, everything is so splendid here and so Orlesian. The decorations, the company, the food, and just thinking about the wine sends me to a giddy fit. The Duke spares no expense. Truly, I hear he has it brought in from Valchevon, just for these parties. He has whole crews of thick, simple-minded Ferelden's to carry his barrels of wine up the mountain, and they're too stupid to know what they carry is worth more than what they earn in a year. It's so funny. Fifi and I actually saw the laborers. One rolled down the mountain and crashed to the bottom. It was such a shame. I almost died seeing all that gorgeous red seeping into the ground. Or maybe that was from the labor. Well, whatever. By Babette de Lancey to her brother Emile. Yeah, remember, Babette's one of the daughters over there. I also love that she didn't clarify why she thought Emile was her only chance to have a grandchild when her two daughters were right there, unless she thinks they're just so incompetent that they can't land a husband to have a child with, but who knows.
This was part of a Fog Warrior's amulet. Fenris has mentioned them. I never thought I'd see one.
By the way, depending on who you decide to bring with you on this DLC will actually change what you can actually pick up here. It's rather interesting in that regard. Talus.
Any more for me? A miniature painting. Bethany would love this.
So yeah, you can get something for companions based on who you decide to bring with you. Hard to stomach, an interesting entry in the cook's journal that might help with contaminating Leopold's food. Tried a new seasoning for the crepes this morning. A bunch of lutefisk, a few slices of cheese, and a lot of navette. Give the Duke the runs all day. Note to self, not so much navette next time. Alright, so... Alright, so, yeah. In case you're wondering, it was 2 clicks of that, 5 clicks of this, and 1 click of that. I double-checked this on the wiki page, so...
I think Leopold's going to be an unhappy wyvern after that.
And why that matters is because it's actually going to give you an advantage in the boss fight at the end of this DLC involving Leopold. Spoilers, we actually have a boss fight with Leopold later on. Because, oh no, what a shock, the Duke is actually a villain! Who would have guessed that, right? The Orlesian Duke would actually be a villain.
I'm here to stop needless death, not cause it. What if there are others? I can't turn back. I have to do this.
What? There's something you aren't saying.
Nothing. I was just talking to myself. Sorry. Let's finish what I've started.
Now, I personally don't think Felicia Day's acting in this is bad. I don't know if anyone actually thinks that or not, but I'm paying attention to it, and I think it's decent.
That should do it.
What does Babette want now?
Her tea was too cold.
Oh, of course. It's either too hot or too cold.
Or her bed's either too soft or too lumpy.
Nothing is ever just right with her. What a bitch.
Quite the Goldilocks she is. In uncertainty, find infinite possibility, an old Orlesian saying.
Bethany loves this turret. Looks a bit like Gammon. In a good way.
It had to be done.
By the way, trying to do this the sneaky way
Let me try.
is... Ugh. If you are not a fan of super stealth gameplay, you are probably going to be a little annoyed or frustrated by it. I think I showed this off the first time that we did a playthrough of this on the channel.
This may be a garden party, but you will not be sipping fruity drinks and mingling. This is war. These heartless slaves to fashion would wear your skin as a cravat, they could. Never forget that. Every one of you will be prepared for battle. Do not relax for an instant.
You know, the more we get to know Orlais and their Orlesians, the more I get to understand why Loghain was so vehement against the idea of allying with them, even against the Blight. It's like the more you get to know them, the more you start to realize, you know what? I think Loghain was not wrong. The outlaw bearded beast. What in this fearsome visage appeals to us? What virtue can this otherwise uncouth and generally suspect creature inform? Raw, fiercely bearded aggression, not so much carved as inflicted by the chisel. Common humor claims that whole figures are carved, and then sundered to the bust. The limbs used to beat the form from the next sculptor's block. Examples are common and deliberately crude. None claim to be an accurate representation of a specific person, and the name is irrelevant, often stolen from the fears of the day. So if it is not the honoring of a villain turned folk hero, what is left to discern? What does this say about the manners of court, that beneath is an affectation for such unfettered and brutal images of strength? What is hidden by this beard?
Tests of despair. I'm not a madman.
Gosh, I feel like I just,
I'm sorry, monsieur. It's all squashed and all the hounds took a bite of it.
It's really not that bad. Just put it back on the plate and cover it up with some gravy.
Ew. But I feel like I just, went to one of those, classes where they discuss art. Wow. Look how much time has passed. That's the courtyard we were at just now, and it's already nighttime. Go get him, Talus. A library of distinction. It was with no small flair that Duke Prosper de Montfort offered a home to the exiled Esme de Joly's considerable library of social graces, including the ever-growing volumes of courtly prominence so carefully logged by the dedicated scholars of Her Majesty's intimate circle. It was an act of charity to a former enemy that, while earning a considerable influence, was no small expense of delivery. De Montfort downplayed these elements with customary charm, insisting that he accepted this burden with the increase in status firmly second among his considerations. It is an honor to be honored when literary lineage is the true benefactor. De Joly can rest well knowing that I hold his treasured tomes where none shall harm or read them. If he is allowed to encroach upon Olesian territory at some distant time, perhaps he could petition to visit them. What a gesture on his part. Lady Amandine Duval. Amandine Duval arrived at the court of Emperor Corentin, aged only 15, and by all accounts took it by storm. Her bright gold hair, expressive eyes, and graceful mannerisms endeared her to all. The Emperor's sister, Lady Charlotte, wrote, "Little Amandine is a true delight, such sparkling wit, and oh, those dainty feet flitting across the ballroom. She is spring come upon our tired court." This adoration did not last long, however. Not a year after her arrival, little Amandine became enchanted with a bard who taught her swordplay, amongst other things. Being young and nimble, Amandine took to blades like a fish to water. Seduced by the life of romance and high adventure, she ran away from the court, dressed as a boy. In the years that followed, Amandine became a sailor, a highway robber, and a courtesan. Once she was betrothed to the Emperor's cousin. At the age of 44, Amandine entered into a cloister. She remained there till the end of her life, and died a penitent. Portrait of the Dowager. The Olesians have a saying, "You must dance with the Dowager if you want to play the game." To a foreigner, this might sound like some sort of proverb. In fact, Dowager Lady Montilion has been one of the most influential members of the imperial court for over 30 years, and nobody advances in the game without her favor. The rumors surrounding her are many. She was Emperor Florian's mistress, she was Florian's assassin, she placed Empress Celine on the throne, she once killed a rival with only harsh words. She rules Orlais from the shadows. One thing is certain, however. If you must have the best society in Orlais, ask a dance of the Dowager. Pride and Rider. An image in oil of the last pure Anderfell stabled at court, before the practice of mounted sport fell from favor. This is an absolutely iconic and typical example of the artist. The work preserves the true majesty of a species that, while in abundance on their natural plains, becomes exotic to a people who eschew mounted travel in their daily existence. An ambitious work often referred to as Pride and Rider, it is part of a series of similarly themed canvases which, for reasons known only to the creator, were labeled and went to the Griffin. Auction notes for the works of Bujet Pogesvides, a catalogue of the foreign and lost dispensed by the holding house of Theron and whatnot. Hello there.
Give the Maker my regard.
Okay.
Done.
Thank you for the key.
This is it.
It's never as easy as it seems, is it?
I swear I didn't know. There must be some sort of switch.
Ah, yes. I think I remember this now. Ooh. There we go.
Something wrong?
I don't know.
Yes.
Don't fret, my dear.
Wonderful.
It's not over yet.
But it is over. I knew who you were the moment you arrived. Assassin.
Assassin? I knew it.
You did?
I know thieves. You're clearly not a professional.
Clever girl. Have you also deduced that your elven friend is Kunari?
You're Kunari.
It's complicated.
I can't believe I fell for this.
Look, I came to stop the Heart from doing something we will all regret. She didn't. Leave her out of this.
And waste all the effort I spent luring you here before the Heart's arrival? Don't be foolish.
Ase hasatra mas.
Mas avas trasokolon. Take them away.
But yeah, I was obviously hinting at the whole Kunari thing.
The elf was Kunari.
And the dwarf has no beard. I know, it made no sense to me either. Maybe they cut her horns off.
The Kunari are not a race. They are a religion. What I don't understand is why a Kunari agent would try to kill one of her own people. And why involve the champion?
Excellent questions.
I expect answers to match.
I live to please.
You're angry, aren't you? Look on the bright side. The Duke didn't have us killed. That's gotta be worth something, right? Unless he has something worse planned.
I like how one of the first things, or rather, I'm amused by one of the first things to talk about how they jump to that her saying that she's Kunari, and they're like, well, she doesn't have the horns. As we established earlier, joining the Kunari doesn't really make you their race. After all, that's what other people in Kirkwall were doing. That's what those other elves in Act 2 did. They went and joined and converted to join the Kunari. That's also what Seamus did as well. He joined and converted and became Kunari, you know? Like, as Cassandra points out, they're not a race, they are a religion. There's just a different term for those who go and willingly join and convert to join the Kunari, compared to, say, those who are of the race that kind of, you know, are native to Parvalen and others, like, say, the Arishok, with the way he looks. And that's basically what Talus is. She's one of those who joined, not necessarily was born of that same race. She is an elf, but she joined them.
Why wait for the Duke? I can end this now.
I don't suppose you'd let me take my chances.
Give you an option to make up your own mind? Who does that?
Touché.
Give me one good reason why I shouldn't.
I am sorry. This didn't work out like I'd planned. Obviously.
What was your plan exactly?
The one I expected to find is named Salit, a member of the Ben Hasrath, the Heart of the Many. I was told he's here to sell secrets to the Orlesians, and I came to stop him. Suppose I was misinformed.
So everything you told me was a lie?
Not everything.
So I just missed the part where you're one of the people I drove out of Kirkwall.
You don't need horns to embrace the Qun. What you need is a purpose, a belief in unity, in improving the lot, not only for your own people, but for everyone.
You're right. I can think of many people who would be improved by the loss of a head.
You're joking, but you're also right. That doesn't mean it's the solution for everyone.
So everyone else just loses a foot? Maybe a big toe?
Being Qunari doesn't automatically mean you're a zealot. Most Qunari don't even understand humans, why you act like you do. But I grew up among you. I understand perfectly well.
Wait, aren't you here to kill someone for the Qunari?
I never said I was killing him for the Qunari.
So you're improving his lodge? Perhaps repeatedly?
I know it's not easy to understand. After what the Arishok did, I hardly blame you. But just tell me, can you honestly say there's nothing to improve? Nothing to strive for? We believe in striving together. We may stumble, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try.
I don't disagree.
It's who I am. I joined the Ben Hasras because I felt it meant something. Means something.
You sound like you're trying to convince yourself.
It's been a long time since I talked to anyone about it. I suppose it's not really a prison cell conversation.
You mentioned the Heart of the Many before, but you said it was the name of the jewel.
It's also what Ben Hasrith means. Some people say we're enforcers, that keep the Qunari in line, but that's not it. It's hard to explain.
Try.
We're the soul of the Qun. We keep its spirit alive and protect it, from both outside and from within. Not every Qunari agrees, nor do they always do what is best for all. The Ben Hasrith remind us of our common goal.
That sounds very benevolent.
It's not always meant to end in violence. There are other paths. They do not all need to lead to the same destination. I probably don't sound very convincing.
Well, the thing is, Talus, is that I understand where you're coming from because, as I mentioned before and earlier in this playthrough, the Qun and the Qunari are a very complicated topic to talk about, and yet it also, when you think about it and learn about it, it makes a lot of sense, you know? And the way she's talking about it does sound very good and very positive, and it's like, you know, that doesn't sound very bad at all. Which is why a lot of people will willingly just go join because they think about it and they go, you know what? That's something I want. That's something I need in my life. And it's very easy to believe that people will just go willingly join, you know? Now, in some regard, yes, it's actually pretty horrible and pretty terrifying when you look at it, but at the same time, it also makes a lot of sense. And that's kind of what's really kind of scary about it when you think about it.
The way you're talking, it sounds like you're one of these Ben Hasrath.
I am, or I was. Whether I ever am again, I guess that remains to be seen.
Is that why you're here? To redeem yourself?
Not to them. Doubt is the path one walks to reach faith. To leave the path is to embrace blindness and abandon hope.
Another Qunari proverb?
She who swallows wisdom in tiny chunks avoids choking.
So this is why I was hopeful that when I found out in Inquisition that Iron Bull was part of the Ben Hasrath, I thought maybe there was going to be a connection to Talus, or that we would actually get to see Talus. We did not get to see Talus in Inquisition. I believe there may have been a reference to Talus in reports, if I recall, Like, I'm trying to remember if there was, like, a war table thing that actually mentions Talus, but like I said, it's so minor, it doesn't really even matter. And this is where I've talked about how this DLC really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You could absolutely avoid this DLC or skip it outright, and you wouldn't miss a thing. It's not like in Legacy where it actually matters and helps tell the story, setting up what happens in Inquisition. That's why Legacy is so important to play before you go to Inquisition. But this, there's really no reason to actually go ahead and have, play this in terms of, like, is it required to play Inquisition? No, not at all. The only reason why is because it does help you get some more information about the Qunari, the Qun, and of course the Ben Hasrath, which helps set up you meeting Iron Bull.
So you came here to stop this elite from betraying your people?
You probably won't believe me, but this isn't a political mission. It's personal.
What do you mean?
Salit was my best Rathari, the one who recruited me into the Ben Hasrath. My tutor. He's the one who saw my potential, convinced me that I could make a difference. It doesn't matter now.
But you said he was selling secrets.
He is. Or at least he intends to. One last act of defiance. I can't let him do that. Not when he'll hurt so many others in the process.
You mean he'll hurt other Qunari?
Not every Qunari is a soldier, you know. There are tens of thousands of farmers, artisans, craftsmen. People who have never hurt anyone. People whose only crime is living. They don't deserve what he's going to do to them. But it's more than my duty to stop Salit. It is my moral obligation.
And that is another thing that this added that I think wasn't made very clear to players and such up until this point, was that the Qunari were not just what we had been exposed to, like Sten and the Arishok. That was mainly just the military that we had seen. What Talus points out is that there's a whole group of just civilians. Just regular, innocent, common civilians. Like she said, farmers, craftsmen, just everyday common people. That they are part of the Qunari people, but they're not part of the military. They don't take up arms. They don't battle in the name of the Qun. They're just people living their lives. They're just part of the Qun because they believe they are serving in their purpose. And that, I think, may have been the first time, like, in the games that we actually had that made clear or, brought to the forefront for us on camera.
So did you really involve me just because I had an invitation?
You were the only one on the invitation list who wasn't a personal friend of the Montfort family. And you're also Basilit An, remember? An outsider worthy of respect.
You know about that?
Of course. If there was anyone a Qunari should or would consider going to for help, it's you.
That's another reason why I like to do this after Act 2 and in Act 3. Is if you gain the Basilit An title from the Arishok.
And what was going to happen when all this was over?
I thank you. We go our separate ways.
You thought I was that stupid?
Truth? You're not exactly what I was expecting. I've heard a few stories about you. They don't quite do you justice.
Bloody Varric.
Perhaps if I'd done my homework, I would have known more about you. Given you the respect you deserve. Nothing I could do about it now.
You were misinformed. Clearly the mark of a skilled Qunari agent.
And there I was, making fun of the crows, too.
Just where do you get your information?
I read about it on the wall of a latrine. What can I say? Apparently the I was tricked thing is going around. The first order of business is getting out of here before His Grace decides we would taste good in the soup. Or whatever he has planned. Any ideas?
We wait for a rescue.
Bloody run-around twisted shite of a maze.
Ooh, you've learned a few new words.
Not every book in the Circle is high literature.
Obviously.
That's it. I'm officially tired of waiting to be rescued.
Why didn't you just do that before?
You said your friends were coming.
There you are. Were you hurt? What happened?
Come on. I've seen enough of this place to last a lifetime.
So, back through the castle then?
There's a better way than fighting through the Duke's entire army. I'll show you.
Well, we found all your gear at least.
Then we should head for the caves. That's the way out I planned to take us through originally. Unless you want to carve your way out through the Duke's army.
I might.
It's up to you which way you want to go, Hawk. I'll help you either way.
Andraste bless you.
Let's do a little exploring.
My eternal thanks.
By the way... Oh yeah, that's actually supposed to be something that... it's supposed to be pretty good because... Well, it's the one we got for taking down the Alpha Wyvern. Though I think... Yep, these are things that can also help us get the improved items for our companions, even though they're probably not improved compared to what we, you know...
I suppose that means we'll have an army upon us soon.
Not if we hurry.
I mean, why not, right?
Something's odd about these statues. They're emanating some sort of... magic.
Huh. Are they now?
I think that's enough. I wonder, would they let me have a portrait done for the circle? Oh, but I didn't see this before. There are directions on the backs of them.
Well, well. Right, hold on. I'm going to quick save.
Done with my hospitality already, are we? Such a shame.
You should have killed me when you had the chance.
I agree. Thankfully, I have an opportunity to rectify that mistake.
Just let her go, Prosper. It's me you want.
What I want is to ensure you cannot further hinder my plans. Do your job and kill them, Chasin. Is that not why I keep you around?
That is it! Hold them! I'm releasing the pets!
Now, hold on. This is why I quick saved.
See? Got everything from the chateau? The way those rocks look, I don't want to
Okay, so it looks like that is like... So going back through the chateau is like an optional thing. To get more stuff. And then the crack in the wall is the actual exit to get out of here.
Wonder what Prosper keeps in here.
Oh, that's right. I remember this puzzle. You gotta mix the colors and get into these rooms to get some extra things. That's right, I remember now. Like I said, I honestly don't care that much. If it was part of a quest, maybe, but let's just go ahead and go in here and do this fight. Because we can.
Done with
Skip.
That's enough! Get back! I don't think we're getting out this way.
We'll have to go back down and through the caves I mentioned before. Although I wonder why the Duke's bodyguard ran off like that.
The Duke left him.
I suppose we'll find out soon enough. How do we get past the barriers?
That's right. Now I remember. Alright, so here is that room from earlier, which leads to here. There's this whole little puzzle thing involving these portraits, which I believe can get you some pretty interesting stuff. You know, if you weren't playing a modded run where you really don't need them. There's more of these mixtures here. You can see it's even different colors this time. Yeah. I would say if you're doing a normal playthrough on higher difficulties, go ahead, because you'll probably get some useful stuff out of it, but not this time. Alright, so we will be escaping when we return. Stay tuned!